to explain to you guys what we're doing here. What are we doing? Why is this game important? How does it relate to the hero's journey? What is the hero's journey to us? And I'm not doing this via note. I am doing this via signal. Um, so let's get into it. I think one, we are aware throughout history, it's been told that to live a meaningful and full life, it is wise to know thyself. Right? We've gotten to know what this game is. We've gotten to know why we do it. We're here to figure out the self, that signal, ego, love, fear. Now, I am not the person that's like discovering this for the first time. This is stuff that every amazing psychoanalyst before me has studied and brought to us um, since the dawn of time. The hero's journey has been present. Psychoanalysts, since we've had some breakthroughs, have been bringing it to us. Carl Jung, Joseph Campbell, Freud was into the hero's journey. I don't think there's a single psychoanalyst that knows what the fuck they're talking about that is going to deny myth, folk, and story being central to our entire lives. So why are we doing what we're doing here? We're doing this so that you can be at least 1% more aware and awake when you're out in the mega game, playing your shit, talking your shit, doing your thing. Because if you are 1% more awake and aware and conscious of your decisions, I truly believe that the world will be a better place, that your life will be more full, and that you can actually stop feeling so fragmented and lost and enjoy the ride even a little bit more. I know that I have had that happen to me. So I want to describe the hero's journey without getting too far into detail because it can get very heady and metaphorical, and I don't think that that's going to be helpful for us as a class. So the hero's journey is this little point right here. This is a character. This is a person. This person will feel some type of way at some point in their life. They'll get frustrated. They'll have just this ball of energy that calls them to some sort of adventure. They need to leave this known space to go into an unknown territory to become something new. They don't know that when they're here, right? All they know is that like there's something over there for me. I gotta go find out. This space and place and these people are driving me fucking insane. I gotta go. And so this person leaves the ordinary. They cross this line into the unordinary and the unfamiliar, and then life fucking happens, okay? You meet mentors, you meet people, you have obstacles, you have all this shit that goes down that is going to genuinely challenge this ball of energy's character. So, this ball of energy, which was here, filled with ego at one point, filled with ego that served and got it to this point, because at one point, this ball of energy was way back there and ended up here based on a hero's journey. So now this ego has said, I've had enough. It's time to shed. I need to grow. Crosses the threshold, has an experience where it is going to go through a process of identifying behaviors and personality traits that no longer serve it. And therefore, in order to get to the Holy Grail, which is we're all driven by wants and needs. So something here that made it go that way was because of a want, a need, a desire, a ball of energy, heat that made it go that way. So there's a promise. Once you kind of cross this threshold here, over here in this hero's journey, you're going to be able to start going, oh, I know why I came here. There's something I want this golden cup. I want this golden cup over here, whether it's the woman, a marriage, a job, status, even whatever, right? If your ego's not super fully developed, it could be status over there, and then you're gonna go on a different hero's journey at some point. But you start here, you cross the threshold, life happens. In order to get to the Holy Grail, you're going to have to shed ego. You're going to have to grow as a human being. Your character is going to have to develop. And then once you get to the Holy Grail, every hero ever realizes that the journey wasn't actually about the Holy Grail, it was about who they became in the process of getting the Holy Grail. So the Holy Grail isn't the Holy Grail. The Holy Grail is the journey and who you become on that journey. Okay? Now, back to every psychoanalyst ever realizing that this is ingrained in our psyche. We process life through metaphor, parable, story, right? So none of them have told us why. Why is this such an ingrained part in our soul and psyche? This hero's journey, this journey. Why is that the center of life? So I got curious, and I'm not saying I'm the only person that's ever made this discovery. In fact, I don't think I am. I think Young was onto it. I think a couple of his students were onto it, but I didn't find out that they were onto it until I found it out. So I'm going to tell you what I've noticed. Why is the hero's journey such an important part of life, and you can't escape it, whether you want to or not? I, as an actor and as a curious person, got extremely interested in physics. Okay, I love the law of attraction. I love um, how our minds and the stories we tell ourselves play an extreme role. Our internal plays an extreme role in our external. That's interesting to me. So I started studying physics. Now this is where it gets really cool. Take an atom, okay? An atom, cells, cellular behavior, okay? An atom, there are certain processes and happenings on cellular behavior that mimic the hero's journey. Or what we really should say is that the hero's journey mimics atomic behavior. So an atom, when it has too much energy, when it is a when heat is essentially applied, a proton will, and I might be a little bit wrong here, but I know that at the end of the day, I'm explaining something that is sound and actually true. I might get an electron or proton or nucleus or whatever molecule wrong, but this is the journey on an atomic level. An atom is here, there is heat and energy applied. A proton in this area, which is going to be the strongest part of this atom, is going, which by the way, when it's the strongest part of this atom, it's something that feeds and energizes the whole ecosystem. So all the electrons around it, all the other protons, everything is like, oh, this little thing is awesome. This little ball of energy right here is amazing. We need it to thrive. But this little ball of energy, when the heat is applied and the energy is given, will go, I need to go. I have outgrown this atom. I need to dip. So this little ball that's a part of this bigger ball will venture off into the unknown, and it will go through a process of transformation over here, and then it will come back home to its atom with its newfound energy, and it will bring that energy back into its original home environment. therefore making the entire atom stronger than it was before it left. Sound familiar? Is that not the exact journey of the hero's journey? The atom and the human are identical. They are parallel in behavior. So, this is why I'm teaching what I'm teaching. We, as human beings, until we observe it so much that it changes, because that's how physics works, we live in a hero's journey. At an atomic level, all energy is going to, when it has heat applied and when it has energy that needs to go, will cross a threshold into the unknown. Life will happen. It will transform into a bigger, better character and then come back home with the goods and give it to the community. That is what we do, period. That's what atoms do. Cellular structure behaves that way. Humans behave that way. So, that's why I don't want to get into like the weeds of like the hero's journey. I don't want to get into like, oh, like what does the princess mean? What does the ogre mean? What is what is the Oedipus complex? I think that's going to be too heady for this work. So the work that we're doing in class, how is that helpful? Well, there are certain instances on the hero's journey that are going to make you connect to your feelings, not your ego. At the end of the day, the entire hero's journey is honestly kind of a shedding of an ego. This is why it's important that we get in touch with our ego and we know when our ego is speaking. And if you think that there's not a bunch of love and fear on this journey, there's a ton of love and fear. Crossing this line right here is filled with fear. It's filled with fear. So this is why we're practicing what we're practicing. Now, what we haven't gotten to is we haven't gotten to a level where we can take the work deeper, which we will. You have to know the game and the rules in order to play the game and break the rules. And I think the hero's journey is a lot about breaking the rules. It's a lot about dipping outside of societal norms and what everybody tells you is what you're supposed to do and how you should feel. And it's taking an account for how you really feel and what you really want. And I truly believe that this game, this work, this exercise brings us closer to that. So what is the next step? The next step is to get in touch with intention, okay? This is all about intention. If you don't have a vision over here and you're just like, I'm just gonna fucking wander up, you're gonna be so fragmented. Here, we're gonna go like this. If you don't have a vision over here, if you don't have a goal, a target, and you're just out here fucking being full of energy, crossing thresholds, you are going to get lost over here. You are going to be a floating bag in the wind, which there's nothing wrong with being a floating bag in the wind. I think it's extremely poetic. There's a life worth living there and just going, you know what? I just want to fucking go. I just want to flow with the flow. Great. But and I think even when you do have a vision, going with the flow is great. It's gonna serve you on this journey. But in order to really use the work that we do in this class, it's all intention based and it's all based on the story that you tell yourself, right? Because this journey is going to be long and it's going to have a lot of shit. You need to be able to tell yourself when you fail here for the third time and you haven't quite your personality hasn't quite figured out the exact vibration it needs to move beyond the forest, you need to be able to tell yourself a nice story about what's actually happening here, that you aren't a failure, that you're not incompetent. All right, so you need to get good at telling yourself stories. But I'm going to go back to the intent. So, a vision and having a bullseye over here is what's going to keep this entire journey able to follow the signal. If you're here and you know, like at the end, I want to end up here, you can get here through all signal. In fact, I will argue it's the only way that you're going to get here. You're not going to get here through your ego. The ego is the thing you need to shed. So it's going to take vision, it's going to take an intent, it's going to take good storytelling. That's where positive affirmations come from. Tell yourself good things. I'm a confident person. I'm a competent person. I make people feel good. People feel comfortable around me opening up. Blah, 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 blah. Whatever. Tell yourself a story. This little thing will react. This is you. It will react in accordance to that story. Okay? The other thing is, how does your character dress? Are you doing that? Because again, this is acting. At the end of the day, this is acting. This is energy acting. And I think unfortunately, that word has become synonymous with pretending. I couldn't disagree more. I don't think acting is pretending at all. I was an actor. You know what pretending is? Pretending is bad acting. You know what great acting is? Putting yourself into an imagination and a state that is real and truthful. So if you're doing that under the parallels and paradigms of making a movie, that's real and truthful as it possibly can be. Now take yourself out of the movie. You're still an actor. You still need to be a good actor. There are good actors and there are bad actors in life. So how does your actor, how does your character, how does the person that ends up here dress, behave, walk, talk? How do they look at life? What is the story they tell themselves? And instead of failing along this way the whole time and getting all your data where it matters, you can come into class and you can practice at a meta level. You can practice at a meta level. So, from now on, when you come into class, we're going to do less talking. We're going to do less lecturing. We are going to tap the fuck in. Tap the fuck in. And we're going to play. Because at the end of the day, at the end of the day, this is a game. Both meta and mega. This is a fucking game. I'm trying to teach you guys how to play and to know that you're safe. Like, yes, there are real consequences in life, and some of them hurt really bad. But the way I see it, you're safe. You're okay. You're here to experience. You're here to experience the 3D. And it's not going to feel safe because why the fuck would you be here experiencing the 3D if it was like nonchalant? Like, oh yeah. No, it's not nonchalant. It's going to feel fucking real. But the more you play the game, the more you're like, is it real? Because I get to do whatever I want as long as I do the work. That's the place I'm in now, because I've been playing the game for 10 years. Right now, I'm intellectually stimulating myself and passing on what I know while I'm learning it. That's amazing for me right now. That is part of my hero's journey right now. That's all I need. I know over here There are books that I will write and I will give it to people. Right now, I've crossed the threshold and I'm teaching class. And the other thing is, one, guys, I'm not a fucking guru. I'm not a psychoanalyst. I'm not a physicist. I am not someone who puts themselves on a pedestal above you guys. I am parallel with you. I am walking this journey beside you. I have just been someone that has been curious enough to look into this stuff and find connections. For the past 8 months of my life, all I have done is study God, study acting, and make these connections. As far as acting goes, I've been studying that for 10 years. I've been connected to God my whole life, and I've been studying physics for about 6 months. Let's put it that way. So I hope this message receives you well. I hope that this puts a new fire under your belt as to why you come to class and what work we should be doing. And on that rooster call, I think this video will be done. I do want to say thank you guys so much for coming to the 2 classes that I've held. And I hope that this video, because I want to get away from talking every class. I want you guys to be able to work. I want you to be able to come in with an intention. I want you to, if what you want from this class is to gain a CIA level awareness because you think it's going to help you on your future heroes journeys, and okay, come to class with the intention of how would a CIA agent treat this exercise? And if you don't know that answer, they would probably be looking at micro behavioral movements. They would be picking up pattern recognition. They would be tuning into not what this person is saying, but how they are saying it. Did their leg twitch? Are they moving their finger on the table? Is this a sign of uncomfort? Is this what is this? What is happening here? Take it all in. Maybe you're going to do that at first in a very openly communicative way of like, I'm figuring out what's going on with you. And then maybe once you start getting good at reading people, maybe the new intention and the exercise is to go, I'm going to read this without giving myself away. So I'm going to stay neutral in my space and place, and I'm going to pick up everything that this person says. Now you're practicing a behavior. You're practicing a behavior that will be useful on your journey from here to here. Maybe you have an extreme social anxiety, and this is just going to be exposure therapy for you. Great. Come here with the intention of like, I'm going to be more comfortable, or I'm going to allow myself to be uncomfortable. Maybe that's where you're starting. I'm going to allow myself to be uncomfortable today, and I'm just going to sit in it. And maybe the more you sit in it, the less uncomfortable it is. Great. Great. Now you have something that you have practiced. You've fired neurons together, wired neurons together, and now it can serve you on this journey. Maybe, here's something we haven't brought into class. Maybe you want to start moving more like a Black Panther. That was something for me at one point. I did an acting role where I was like, this guy's like a Black Panther. Like, I want to embody a Black Panther. And so I used Meisner repetition to practice what socially a Black Panther moves like. Maybe you want to bring an animal into this. Maybe you're like, I don't know why, I just identify with a lion. Okay, great, be a lion. Be a lion in class, whatever that means to you. All right, I think that's it. If you watched this, fantastic. And if I lost you, Great, this isn't for you right now. I will see you guys at next class.